Soneko is also a great disruptor player, so it's not that, but they've just had more success with Wire.
The Dark Ship would have been really good for them. It combos well with the disruptor. It's really good versus IO and Tiny, and it sets up for
Bounty as well in the lane. Iron Shell on the Bounty. That's annoying for the supports, especially what LGD has right now. They have one support in middle, one support at top, so only one person is going to be dealing with the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter with Iron Shell is very troublesome with the lone support.
Well, the Wyvern is open. Is Navi going to take it? Now, if they don't, how else do they round this out? Because, I mean, no matter what they pick, even if it does have lockdown, like, that's going to be the only real source, right?
Question is if it's Host Quap.
Yeah,
because else they would need to carry.
They can also do Fun at Quap as well. I mean, dealing with that late game Gyro and Tiny is very, very scary.
Yeah. It's... If they wanted to get a classic Host here, and a potential option that we have talked about would be the Lifestealer, where he actually does well against Gyro, he does well against Tiny, just in heads-up battles, and then you can somewhat bring him in with Quap, but you need to be careful that you don't just sacrifice the Quap when you're blinking. Okay, never mind. So, wait a sec. Okay, so it is a Host Quap safe play.
Okay.
That's good to see. He actually plays a really good Quap, and something I talked about previously, I think it plays to his strengths to have it's not a classic carry, but it's a lane dominator. He's really good at the one-on-one matchups. This is the kind of hero that he should be able to just outplay his opponent on in lane. And I'm guessing it's going to be an Axe off lane here with both Disruptor and maybe even Bounty helping out in that lane.
I mean, they can also play greedy and just have Axe jungle. I don't really think they can punish it at all. Not with Wisp and Dazzle as their supports. Axe counters the Grave. It's probably the most obvious one, but I think it can just be played as a greedy jungler. I don't necessarily think it's Funix hero. Although, it depends on what they want to do with the Bounty Hunter. Do they want to like scout out the stacks and try and take them with Axe and Shadow Fiend later? I mean, they have very good tools to invade LGD's jungle, which Secret tried to utilize in the first game.
Right. Now, Winter, what else is LGD looking for then? I mean, they already have the Dazzle.
Someone to start the fights, basically, for Relocate to be useful. Like what they did before was the Earthshaker. There's no Clockwork, so Earthshaker could be the one that they go for again, or something like a Puck offlane, but I haven't seen that done by teams for a long time. But that's what they definitely need, someone to start a fight.
Alright, still ample time for LGD. Do you think they're thrown off a little bit by the Axe and the Disruptor, perhaps?
Yeah, they might be they might be figuring out whether the Axe is a greedy pick or how they want to deal with it, or it's just a laning Axe with a Disruptor and a Bounty Hunter roaming, like what Sin mentioned before.
Alright, as we're waiting, fun news for all the viewers back at home. We have another Techies game, and this time it's funny because it's between Secret and Complexity, both teams who pick Techies, so they will be Secret will be using it against Complexity, trying to give them a taste of their own medicine. But
that's a nice
meanwhile, Spirit Breaker rounding things out for LGD, so that's
Hovost Axe and Fun at Quap.
Yeah, Hovost plays a good Axe too. Again, same logic. Very aggressive, in your face.
Alright, Winter, I mean, how do you feel about the Spirit Breaker? I mean, that's part of what you were discussing.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker is a good way to start the fights for them, and it's very tanky, very hard to kill. Like when we were mentioning about the game with VG when they picked against EG when they picked Bounty Hunter, if you roam with the Bounty Hunter and you can't kill anyone, then it will be a problem. And at the same time, Spirit Breaker can assist the other lanes when Bounty is roaming. So it's a really good pick in general against what Navi have.
Does Axe win that lane?
1v1?
Yeah.
Against SP?
It seems...
yes.
17% of the time not.
But the rest. So it really depends on the 17% here. LGD versus Navi about to go into their first game. Now this does matter a lot for Navi. If they can't even get a single point in this matchup, things are looking really grim to enter the top 4 of the group. Of course, not eliminated just yet, but it is nice to get a head start in the bracket stage. We are into the first game between Navi and LGD.
Lanes are quite flexible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in from the live streams wherever you are in the world. Get ready for an exciting match. It's LGD Gaming sitting atop the group, tied with Secret after a thrilling 1-1 series earlier today. They want the 2-0s here. They've got Navi on the docket right now, and, well, as for Secret, they'll be battling up against MVP and Complexity. LGD still to face Fnatic later in the tournament. That will be tomorrow. But for now, Navi, they're the team fighting for their playoff lives here, gods. They want to start in the upper bracket. In order to do it, they really need 2 2-0s. And, Well, LGD sits there as the brick wall in front of them. Can Na'Vi find the old magic? If there ever was a time, now is the time. So we get underway with the game, both teams moving into the bottom side of the map. We are going to have a quick pause here from MMY. But as we were discussing during the draft, the curveball from LGD is the Spirit Breaker. They see the last pick of the Axe. Before that, if this was, say, Team Secret, you almost certainly expect a Queen of Pain safe lane. But when they see the Axe come out, they think that's likely the safe lane hero for Havost, anticipating an Earthshaker off lane, and that's something Axe would dominate 1v1. So LGD make a bit of an adjustment. They get the more aggressive off laner for Yao, as well as something that can put more pressure on the Shadow Fiend of Dendi mid.
Well, so Nico going to get some good scouting information, sees the LGD 5-man at the bottom rune, and now Na'Vi can make the call just to not fight this. Dendi's going to go for the top bounty rune. He's got 2 branches and doesn't really want to fight this at all.
We'll have an early skirmish here, perhaps. So Nico is the one scouting it. Does not really want to run down into the river. Oh, is he going to go for this?
Sentry healed.
This is risky. So Nico. Oh, he does grab that.
Whoa.
Oh, that's
they
so
don't even
bold.
sentry it.
The double bounty steal could have easily been a first blood, but he ends up living to tell the tale. A risky maneuver, and it works out. And LGD actually switching up the lanes. They end up sending the Spirit Breaker top, and they're going to aggro dual lane. And this is the beauty of Gyrocopter. He can pretty much go anywhere, but it does leave a Queen of Pain versus Spirit Breaker matchup, something that most Spirit Breaker players aren't too excited to see.
Yeah, this is I'd say, smart decision. The Axe has a lot of problems against the Rocket Barrage. You can't just run into the Gyrocopter too easily. And the Spirit Breaker against Queen of Pain is not that big of a mismatch like the Earthshaker matchup we saw last game for Yao, or early against Secret for Yao. So he can hold his own to some extent. He's very tanky with a Stout Shield and plenty of HP regen.
Well, Dendi already going to work here in the mid lane, and because they did not get the bounty rune for LGD, the bottle is a bit delayed. Only now coming out. It forces maybe into a quick salve. Dendi only sitting on 3 CS, but a good start for a Shadow Fiend in this matchup. There will be a bit of a Sentry Ward war here in the mid lane, and there's currently 1 on Xiao 8. None on MMY, though. It gives Saniko the edge, and it is worth pointing out he's been doing some warding off in the Dire jungle here. He put 1 ward towards the most commonly stacked camp, and he might even look for some body blocks if that IO continues to move and focus on economy. Now swinging around towards the bottom lane, but in they go. They make the move on Dendi, and, well, don't kill him yet, but they threaten him. As soon as the bottle arrives, you can start to make these types of plays and always have your regen at the ready.
Yeah, Dendi going to be bottle crowing, and he has to be very careful about how he moves around this map. So Saniko comes back, and he's going to be kind of constantly having to babysit Dendi here to secure his farm.
Uh-oh. Well, this could be trouble. No
Yikes.
sentries, though. They really need to get that sentry over to the mid lane. Still sitting on the Dazzle bottom. In fact, he's walking towards the rune. He may just complete the journey. Getting harassed a bit by the Disruptor, but in they go in the mid lane. Maybe working on Dendi. Can't quite finish him off. Bottom rune will spawn. It's a bounty. Top rune, a regen. That's the real bounty. And Dendi will claim it. But they're contesting.
And they make their way down, but they're too late.
Charge, toss forward. Dendi in trouble here. He's going to miss the first raise. That could end up costing him his life. Ava and the bash. Yao will get the kill. MMY may pay to Saniko. Oh, just out of range. Barely able to slice him up with those blades. So it's a 1-for-1, but the death of the Shadow Fiend, a horrible price to pay here for Na'Vi.
Yeah, Funny comes in for some Shadow Strike punish, but yeah, he's pretty tanky, and he's actually just going to go for that 17% bash and cross his fingers and hope for the best here. Funny doesn't want to fight him.
It's really the difference between an Earthshaker and a Spirit Breaker. If that's an Earthshaker, you don't have that opportunity. He's too slow, too immobile.
Too squishy.
And
too,
also would be suffering way more against this Queen of Pain. So we can see the slight adjustment in draft working out well so far. We'll see if the lack of team fight presence makes a difference later.
Yeah, and looking at bottom lane, Gyrocopter farming well, although Axe is also getting some okay CS here. Hasn't been completely punished, although has decided he wants to rotate into the jungle.
They've more or less abandoned this bottom lane. Just a Disruptor sitting there now. Havos trying to complete his Tranquil Boots. He's got a little ways to farm for it. So overall, Na'Vi, they are getting the creep advantage here early on. And looking at the Dire jungle, I don't think we've got any stacks just yet. No stacks, and it's warded. If you don't get your farm early, it could really cost you as they toss Dendi back into the tower, maybe wanting to farm heroes, but doesn't have mana for an Avalanche right now, and just going with auto attacks onto Saniko. They drop a Sentry Ward. Saniko fencing around Dendi, looking for a raise. He's only going to hit maybe. Doesn't find Momoya.
Tango the Sentry.
They're thinking about it. Nobody wants it. They're just going to auto-attack it down.
Maybe he was next to, or it was more for the Tiny. He was missing HP. 10 goes to Sentry, and it's the
in
the value
in the
D-ward.
Radiant jungle, bit of a go here. Havost and Xiao 8 duke it out. There's the heal, but rotating in. A very early movement for maybe. Havost is fast, though. Poison Touch comes through. There's the toss forward. He might even be throwing Xiao 8 into his own demise. Are they diving this? They're thinking about it. 4 heroes rotating, but nothing accomplished. And Saniko even going to arrive and look to punish Xiao 8 on the way out. Quite a few auto attacks. He gets off the double windwalk, and he gets the kill solo. The charge comes now, but well worth the exchange. Just so much space created here by the little bounty hunter.
Yeah, gets him up to level 3.5 as well. This is a very successful roaming bounty hunter so far. Experience going his way. He's getting a lot of support towards Dendi, who's 24 last hits to the 7 of Tiny. This is a similar story to what we saw against Secret. This IO Tiny mid just struggling against Shadow Fiend.
And there's the added problem of the lack of jungle stacks right now. Last game, LGD had a quad stacker on this point. This game, they've got absolutely nothing. And even if they go for it, it's very likely that Saniko's going to be there. They're going to need to invest 3-4 heroes to secure any sort of farm for maybe. It puts a lot of pressure here on Sylar, but in comes Dendi with Saniko. A tri-lane mid all of a sudden erupts, and well to the benefit of Na'Vi. Now the chase in the river. There's the charge from Yao. Dust to follow this up. This was how EG tried to do it, the bounty. And now the toss. The Ava as well. Not enough to kill up Dendi, but Spirit Breaker standing his ground. 17%. There you go. Gets the kill and looks for more. The tether forward, the toss back. Kind of an awkward exchange, and Yao says, I'm going in anyway. Sylar's arrived, and what do you know? It's 5-man Dota from LGD. Another bash. It's another kill. The intergalactic space cow on the prowl.
LGD are like
making the plays.
They're out Naviing Na'Vi right now. They're just like diving at your tower and running right at you as 5.5 minutes in the game.
I mean, boy, would you have loved to have Funnick there or what? He's level 6. He had a TP. He only has 2 points at Scream, but still could have done a lot of work as they continue to pressure this mid lane. Dendi may even look for a final killing raise here on Navy, but it's only level 3. Not quite enough damage. But yeah, like you said, out Na'Vi, and that's where you want to see Funnick get active. He's on the move now, hasted and rushing in mid.
Oh yeah, Tiny's going to be very careful. He's low in HP, still nearby, and Yao reveals himself, but he's not an easy target with all his HP and survivability that he's packing.
That's probably the worst hero to go on. Either maybe or MMY a better choice, but they got to find somebody away from the tower. Funnick just begging them to come out. He could maybe even get a double with support. Saniko again going invis. I love the way they're using this bounty hunter, though. They didn't have the early sentry mid, and then they immediately got dewarded. And since then, Na'Vi have had the true sight superiority in the mid lane, which means he's just free to move around and do as he pleases.
Yeah, and that's something we've seen most teams be really disciplined in dealing with the bounty hunter. They'll kind of had that sentry battle in mid lane where they're using their tangos to de-sentry, but LGD, I mean, they're still in a good position. They're up kills, they're getting farm on most of their cores, Gyrocopter especially top of the net worth chart, so by no means are they in a bad position, but they haven't really willingness to just play the bounty hunter battle in the mid lane.
A lot of the mid game feels like it is going to come down to Sylar. Phase boots up, early Arena Facility is complete, he's hit level 7. And he's got a TP scroll. This is where Na'Vi do need to be careful. You go for a tower dive, and you may well end up giving that double, triple kill that we've seen so many times away already in the tournament and just completely blowing the game open. As they make their move on mid, the raise is attempted, can't quite get the kill on maybe. And LGD will back off for now.
So for LGD, it looks like they're just going to try to get Yao's level 6 in the top lane, but for him, I think he's quite happy. He's been able to achieve a lot for his team in the mid lane with his rotations. Well, meanwhile, Funnick's just been kind of sitting top. His rotation failed, didn't actually get any kills for his team. So while Funnick's farming well, he has
the Sharuka toss. Will he get it in time? Yes, he does. Big kill going to be going the other way here. Sylar doesn't even have mana for